Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another exciting episode of Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you. My name is VashSky. I'm going to be your tram driver today, and, well, talking you through the backlot right here as the tram tour guide is going to be LW Gus. Hello there, Lou. How are you doing today?
All I can say, Vash, is any tram you drive will be a glamour tram.
You see, that's what I was going for right there. Fantastic stuff. Oh man, has it been a week in terms of the entertainment industry? I mean, we got auctions, we got big sales, big studios, we've got projects that were supposedly dead, but I guess you can't necessarily kill the past. Anybody get the Ben Solo, Kylo Ren?
Well, if you're going to have something return from the undead, this is kind of the week for it, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. It is the Halloween season right there, and it's the fall colors, and everything is dandy. Fantastic stuff.
The frost is on the pumpkin, as they used to say.
Indeed. And, man, it's getting, I don't know if it's getting frosty out there in Hollywood or it's heating up. Not sure.
Well, at least, daylight savings is coming after Halloween this time. Going away. Used to be it happened like 2 or 3 days before, and you had all these people who couldn't see driving in the dark with lots of little kiddies on the road. It was always a formula for disaster to me. So I'm glad they got that in sync the way they did. But meanwhile, speaking of the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Great pumpkin indeed. Mr. Zaslav the Pumpkin Man's trying to sell off his pumpkin in the form of Warner Bros. Discovery. Officially for sale, Zaslav confirms a strategic review and internal memo to staff. Despite that, Marketplace Marvin Montanero, we already know that they are up for sale, as I'm sure you have heard. And interestingly enough, they have Warner Bros. Discovery, that is, has rejected Paramount Skydance multiple times. Apparently, in that second time, that's when Warner Bros. Discovery opened up their sale of their studio right there. Apparently $24 a share, and I think it was on that third time. Interestingly enough, Lou, you're gonna like this. Apparently, this one right here. David Ellison, who obviously is running Paramount Skydance, that newly formed entity, offered CEO David Zaslav a co-CEO-ship alongside him in whatever machination this ends up taking, which is very, very interesting. And they've also, I guess internally, have had offers or are interested, have expressed the interests of Apple and Amazon and Netflix and Comcast potentially in buying Warner Brothers Discovery or Warner Brothers itself. Now, we do know that Netflix has kind of dropped out. They said, hey, look, listen, we don't want to take on growth like this. We're looking for organic growth. We want to, reiterate our focus on the brand and our platform and so forth. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. Now that just leaves Comcast, Paramount Skydance, Apple, and Amazon potentially. But, Lou, I want to go ahead and bring this up to you, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn it over because you have now the Writers Guild of America saying they don't want anything to do with this, calling it a disaster if this actually occurs. And then we have a political side to all of this, which is very interesting. But I kind of want to hear from you on the WGA talking about this potential merger right here.
Yeah, you have to take this with many grains of that pillar of salt that Zaslav will turn into if he looks back on this. The Writers Guild has been particularly PO'd at Warner Brothers for about a decade. They've been having specifically fights with them, specifically disagreements with them. And the idea that, oh my God, consolidation. They didn't have a problem when Amazon took over MGM, did they?
They
wouldn't have a problem now, apparently, if Amazon took over. It's not. Look, I was a member of the Writers Guild. I guess technically I'm a retired member. I was a member of the Directors Guild. I was a member of the Dramatists Guild. I was a member of GRIP's Local 80. The Writers Guild has the most confused leadership, even more so than SAG and AFTRA. Truly, they do. And diminished competition. So, in other words, it's a disaster because we just made a bad deal in our last contract, and giving fewer people a chance to use that bad deal against us is a bad thing.
That's an interesting idea. That's an interesting way to
Work
go about
with
it.
regulators. Well, what have they got to do with it? The Writers Guild is not regulated by, for example, well, they are by the NLRB, but they're not by the FTC. They're not by the FCC. Those are the regulators that matter in this thing. We all know, and certainly David Ellison knows that there's bits and pieces of Warner that they'll have to get rid of. Can we say CNN? There's bits and pieces of Warner
Good
Brothers
point.
that are useless. Can we say a bunch of other ones? This guy's not a bad guy. He's concentrated on doing what a responsible CEO should do, which is get rid of the huge debt that they have. And one way to do that is to sell off all these pieces. I honestly, truly, seriously don't think the people at Comcast, NBC, Universal are even interested. I really don't. And Netflix says they're not. So that leaves you with Jeff Bezos, and who the hell knows? He's vying for the Bob Iger Award of buying stuff and then not knowing what to do with it.
Well, at least it's his money or Amazon.
Well,
money?
yeah, sure it is. But the Writers
Yeah.
Guild statement is, as they say, a tale of pomp and fury signifying nothing. So
Right.
let's forget about that.
And as far as the debt is concerned, remember, folks, Disney has a similar amount of debt. It's actually
yes.
very similar. It's $40 billion versus Warner Brothers, who has about $35.6 billion as of the last reporting that I have here in front of me.
But
So
Disney has nothing to sell or nothing they want to sell, and Warner does.
yeah. And notice how they're not in the conversation to acquire anything.
And everything that they've bought for a lot of money is worth less. So
yes.
there is that.
And we'll talk about some of those
And guess
acquisitions
what?
they've made.
Here's a little simple economics for everybody that you can understand. If you buy something for $100 on time at $10 a year, and you sell it for $50, you don't suddenly get to pay $5 a year on that debt. It's still yours.
That's
Surprise!
true.
Unless you sell the debt along with it, which means you're not going to get as much.
Right.
So,
and that's the problem too. That's what you got to figure out here, because you have the debt involved, and then you have this very high price point that I thought the latest report that I heard was Zaslav wants like $30 a share. Well, that puts it well over $100 billion. And so who has that deep of pockets?
well, he wants. Sure, he wants. I want it. I'll buy it for half as much if somebody will loan me the money. I'll give up. I'll sign a letter saying I won't bid for $50 million. Anybody out there offering me that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Culture was saying. Culture Casino was telling me, he's like, look, I'm thinking that David Ellison and the offer that he's putting forward is going to be the best that Zaslav's going to get.
Of course it is.
Which, yeah. And now we're at an open auction. We'll sign.
Let me put it in Paramount terms.
Please.
It's good. It's good for Warner Brothers. It's good for their debt. It's good for the whales.
Yeah, that's good. It's good stuff. I love that right there.
I would be. Oh, now you're talking my language. I just watched both of those films for the first time because the screener stuff is starting to happen for those of us who vote on awards.
Yep.
Boy, I hated Superman. I hated it with a passion.
Oh, really? You saw it?
Yeah, 2 nights ago. Yeah.
Oh.
And God, what a terrible, nasty piece of work that is. And F1 is brilliant and marvelous. I think it is more likely to acquire kudos and awards for the script, which is great, and for Bardem as supporting. But it makes the same point that we discovered when we were doing for the genre guys, Ford and Ferrari. Great sports movies are about personalities, not the sport.
Correct.
Well, bad superhero movies are about everything being bad.
Well, okay, all right. Well, let's get into that just a little bit here. What were your main takeaways from it? What did you like least like? What did you most like?
From what? Which one?
Well, with Superman.
First of all, was there anybody either in front of or behind the camera under 30? It may be accurate to portray an entire generation as people who stand in front of big glass windows with their cell phones taking pictures of projectiles and monsters coming right at them, about to kill them, but it doesn't make good movie making. I've said before, the damn dog should have just picked him up and flown him. Don't drag him through the snow, for God's sakes. The idea that Luthor, having studied his fighting, had come up with all these 32, 67, B4 moves, but couldn't program them into his bot to actually know which one was next rather than having to have him tell him?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that stupid? Isn't that amazingly stupid?
Yes.
It went on and on and on like that. And it wasn't funny and it wasn't heroic. It was just bombastic. And when the guy with the funny wig playing Green Lantern is the funniest thing in the movie, you got a problem.
Do you think James Gunn is the guy to lead this franchise, or another?
I don't think I would hire James Gunn to run my lemonade stand. Because he talks too much. And I also think that James Gunn, as a producer, boss of a franchise, should never hire himself to direct a movie. I'm sorry, if he wants to direct, then he should direct. If he wants to be the overall guiding light thereof, he should do that. But when it's both, there's nobody to say no. There's nobody to say, wait, we made a mistake. And God, this sadly ugly character, that engineer. Oh, God.
Yes. Oh. Yeah, it's a tough. Is
it supposed to be Venom for leather fetishists? I mean, I don't get it, but God, what a. And let me ask you a question.
Please.
Do you think Krypton and Superman would somehow code the appearance and disappearance of the Fortress of Solitude to DNA you could get off a hair? And how did that hair fall off? If it took a kryptonite scissors to give him a haircut, how does it just fall off in battle to the point where they can collect it and use
That's a good point.
There's a million trillion little plot points like that nobody gave a damn about. Everybody thought they were being so damn clever. There was such a smug about all those people sitting in Luthor's headquarters. There was such a, God, aren't we just cleverer than the universe? No, you're not. Now what?
I mean, okay, well.
I mean, this corn sweat guy, I don't fault him much. I mean, I don't think he was that captivating, but he wasn't totally a wreck. The 10 seconds of Supergirl at the end was pretty silly. The endless conversations between him and Lois were pretty silly. It just was there. It just had real, and even set design. What about that dark apartment of hers? I mean, he looks at Guardians of the Galaxy was the last time he knew what a joke was. Look at the difference in him, for God's sakes. It hasn't been that many years. That picture you just showed.
Yeah, the picture
compared
of
to now.
James Gunn.
It's like what happens to Palpatine and everybody else who touches the dark side, They get old and ugly. They get old and ugly.
That's a good point right there.
I hated it. I hated every minute of it. I was angry that I had to finish it to do it justice, of hating the whole thing, because I kept hoping maybe something will be redeeming. And people say, "Oh, but he saved the little kid from those." Swell. You save millions.
It's like the bare minimum of what you need for a superhero film, much less the Superman film.
Yeah, it's the Span joke, right? Well, it's got stupid, 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 saving a little girl, stupid and stupid. That's not got much stupid in it. And this guy, was he good in the part? Yes, he was. Was the part anything like a super genius? No way. No way.
Well,
What I just, and by the way, Gene Hackman and Valerie Perrine made it fun and clever. But
mhm.
where does it say the super genius of the world has to have a bimbo?
Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
Why
Yeah.
wouldn't he want a smart girlfriend? Why wouldn't he want a competent girlfriend?
What?
Instead, he takes on this bimbo who's going to betray him, which he should know if he's such a genius, who
Yeah.
does betray him, which he doesn't know until it's too late. And then he gets mad.
Yeah, it's kind of like a caricature of a bad guy where it's like, oh well, he took on a bimbo because he just wants like
No, that
a
character
trophy
would
or
have
whatever.
50 bimbos.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah. That's a good
but
point. That's a good
to
point.
have his one and only be such a dip, and what is there about Jimmy Olsen for her to fall in love with? For God's sakes,
That's a fair point. You need setup.
that he has hair, unlike her other guy.
True. It could be. Hey, you know
I
what?
just,
We have more questions and answers, and perhaps that's what the sequels will go into. And that's the other problem with this whole deal right here is that, well, James Gunn is part of this package. I mean, allegedly anyway, and that's the thing I want to
see,
talk about here.
this is where, like I say, I think you'll get around to it. But when we were doing, we just did the first two Star Trek movies, Motion Picture and Con,
Yes.
for the genre guys.
Mhm.
And as we were doing Con last night, I said, you know what my wish of wishes is that David Ellison takes 2 hours and watches Con and then realizes he has to fire everybody in charge of that franchise right now and get back to what it's about.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's
I mean, whether he would when he took over Warner's tell Gunn to take a walk, maybe, but
well, and that's one of the criticisms of this deal. I mean, one of many, I guess, is that David Ellison hasn't even begun to manage or incorporate what he just purchased and is looking to purchase more.
With Barry Weiss, he has a little bit, but
It's
it's not. You know how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. It's a big deal.
Well, yeah, but you don't take a whole pig next to it and try to digest that at the same time. I mean, it's like,
well, you want something in the larder.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I think he figures this is his best time and his best chance at it, especially considering. Has anybody seen these revelations about this NBA scandal? And has anybody seen the stuff about talking about the NFL and gambling and sports gambling in general? And is anybody thinking like I'm thinking that ESPN has some serious splaining to do coming down the road?
Well, that's the other thing too. I think I heard a report. I have to still track it down and confirm it myself. But apparently, when that NBA scandal was brought up, that I think they had like an active ticker on ESPN that tracked betting, gambling, and so forth. They took that off when the FBI came forward with their allegations. So,
well, yeah, I mean, if these guys are telling him in advance, "Hey, I'm going to fake an injury in the third quarter," God, and they all say tip of the iceberg, tip of the iceberg, tip of the iceberg. Well, for God's sakes, that whole ESPN deal is so fragile right now.
It is
for Disney, and so Ellison might be saying, "Why don't I sort of strike while the iron is hot, regulatorily wise, because I have a friend in the White House," which is the truth, and get past all the muck. I can still be fixing Paramount while all that background year of regulatory hurdle is being jumped through by the lawyers and the mavens in DC.
Right, it's a good point. Well, and we'll talk about DC in just a moment. I want to bring this up to you though, and I want to ask if, in fact, it is true that David Zaslav was offered a co-CEO ship for this new entity. Is that something where you can go to anybody else who is bidding for this and go, "Hey, Ellison offered me this. I mean, offer me
Sure,
the same.
sure,
Interesting.
sure. But Ellison's deal is exclusive. So if somebody else
Right.
offers it, the deal's off. So it kind of, I mean, I don't know that he wants it. Maybe Zaslav is pooped, wants to walk away having made a valuable deal, and write his book and buy his boat.
Yeah.
Or another boat or whatever.
Yeah, as the wrap says right here.
Like I said to you before the show, and I was looking at our thumbnail. Can you put that up on the screen now, or is that only in the?
Yeah. I can go ahead and put that up on the screen.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls out there in listening land, when you were a kid, if you had any interest in the movies at all, didn't you think like the neatest, funnest job on earth would be to be a CEO of a major studio? Do either of those guys look like they're having any fun? I mean, golly, what a dismal existence that is to deal with debt and movie press, and it's just no fun anymore.
I think Zaslav, that picture of Zaslav, by the way, you can't see it. He's in a tuxedo because he's on the red carpet.
Oh,
it's
well.
Kind of like, it's kind of
somebody's going to call him on the carpet sooner or later, whether it's red or otherwise, I won't know.
Well, that's true. But what I'm saying is that you're not even in the public spotlight in a place where it's like embarrassing for you, or you should have a face like that. It's
you should
like
have
you're literally
your game face on, and if that's
right.
your game face, then your game is kaput. Orson Welles was famous for saying that a movie is the greatest electric train set a kid ever had.
Yeah.
In that case, these guys are not even getting Rock'em Sock'em Robots for Christmas.
Well, and
or whatever the worst toy in the world is. I don't know that one is, but
let's talk about the Rock'em Sock'em game here, because now DC might have involved itself in this. Here you go from the New York Post. It is New York Post. I have it in reader mode right now because New York Post website, there's a lot of stuff on there. Exclusive Trump admin likes Paramount Skydance in race to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Points to the Ellisons. This is by Charles Gasparino right here. The Trump administration favors Paramount Skydance to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, and a number of rival bidders are likely to face stiff hurdles from U.S. regulators. And the blockbuster auction on the money has learned. You can see right here, this is the quote from a Trump administration official. Who owns Warner Brothers Discovery is very important to the administration. A senior Trump administration official told On the Money. The Warner board needs to think very seriously, not just on the price competition, but which player in the suitor pool has been successful getting a deal done. And that points to the Ellisons.
I love that phrase. The suitor pool.
Suitor, yeah.
Is that at the Grand Floridian? Does it have a water slide, the suitor pool? Anyway, go on.
Suitor pool. Okay, well, all right. So, I'm, there have been things that I've agreed with this administration when it comes to entertainment, and there are things that have been, said or done that I don't necessarily agree with. Do you think the administration's meddling here? Do you think it's their position to do this? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, sure they are, and they shouldn't be. That's a mistake. They should say no comment. We'll see how it sorts out.
Right. That's kind of what I thought.
But, they never do. They're boisterous. And boisterous will be boisterous.
The virtue and the vice, right?
But what they're telling Netflix, Amazon, Comcast, well, not really Netflix because they've already said no, but they're telling Bezos and they're telling the Comcast guys, those aren't the droids you're looking for.
That's perfect, Lou. I love that. Oh, if I had my effects. Yeah. This is a developing story. I don't think the administration's role is to say, oh, hey, well, if this guy goes together, then we'll approve this. Now, if there were things that you could point to, right, and say, okay, hey, this entity has this vertical, this entity has this vertical, this would make it a complicating factor to get it through regulatory.
Look, if all of this was happening in a vacuum, I'd be upset about this. I really would.
Yeah.
But when you consider the kind of thumb on the scale stuff that prior administrations did,
it's very true.
Pressuring X to not validate things, getting people
Yep.
to lie about the laptop, all that other stuff. This is really, really small potatoes.
That's true. And one last thing here before we move on here, there have been some accusations about
Oh,
like this
geez.
whole ballroom thing and donors being involved. And it's like, okay, if Comcast is donating, are they trying to sweeten the pot, so to speak, to get the administration
Yeah,
on their
but they're
side? in
not
order to get-
donating to Trump. They're donating to the United States of America, whose house it is.
Right. And
And by the way, the fact that Trump got entirely outside funding for this is kind of novel.
yes,
Obama didn't.
that's true.
Truman didn't.
I think there's an interview from Trump in 2016 saying that he would have been willing to provide a ballroom for the White House, and he actually contacted Obama on it and said, "Hey, look, listen, I'll give you $100 million and do it right, and we'll go ahead and give you the best ballroom," as as Trump likes to say, right? But apparently he never heard back or whatever. So this has been in the works for quite some time.
Well, the problem with Obama was that his pants were too tight. He had no room for ballroom. But anyway,
Well, so
but look,
I looked into it. Okay.
the idea that money from donors is okay as long as it's not certain donors is very political, and it's
Yeah.
stupid. These pictures they've shown where they had, oh my God, he's tearing down the entire West Wing. Yeah, right. What
Right.
he's doing is tearing down one little portion of it so they can connect it to the building. What a surprise.
Right. I look.
And I read one line. I think it was that comedian Steve Byrne, because apparently some of the people on the left were upset that they weren't preserving little pieces of apparently very old wallpaper in the East Wing. And they said Obama wanted to tear down and Biden wanted to tear down the wall. They're now upset because of wallpaper. Which reminds me, there's a big, gorgeous arch, and where did we lose one of those this week?
Yeah, that's a sad thing, right?
So
Hollywood Studios.
And Trump wants to build one of those too. By the way, he wants to build an Arc of Triumph over at the other end of the bridge at the Lincoln Memorial. So
yeah. It's look, I looked into the allegations of the ballroom thing, and the biggest donors are Alphabet with 22 million. I think it's Plaza Construction, the CEO for that, 10 million. Lockheed Martin, 5 million. Marion Edelson, 5 million. Comcast is part of this, but they don't even show up as having a disclosed amount because conceivably it's so small. So
everybody wants to be on the list that in
Right.
future generations people say, who paid for this? Oh, all those great American corporations. And
That's
why
a great
shouldn't they?
point.
Why shouldn't they? Why
Right.
shouldn't they add to the glory of the country whose capitalism and free market and free speech make them what they are today? There it is. For those who don't know, that's the WB.
That's the WB right there.
And if you look on the left-hand side, as Lancashire comes over the hill, and you see that gap, not the first one with all these parking, but the gap between the two sound stages there, that's the gate from Blazing Saddles, just so you know.
Yeah. What a great production right there.
But you also have to know that next up the line there is a certain mouse. And Warner Brothers used to be all of this greenery back here too. They gave it up and it became houses.
Wow.
So they had a whole train running back there and all kinds of other neat stuff.
That's cool.
And God, I remember doing a show where we were in the parking lot. If you see this bridge over the freeway, there's another parking lot over there. And we were in there faking a tailgate party at a stadium with Lynn Swan and a bunch of other people. The many memories of that neighborhood, which I wouldn't go near nowadays because it would scare me, frankly. And of course, just below this picture, those of you who know about the Smokehouse, this wonderful restaurant that has good garlic bread and mediocre food and red leather banquettes and stiff drinks. If we carried just south of this picture, we'd be at the back door of Universal. So there's one big incestuous hunk of real estate out there.
Well, you know, the history of these studios are tremendous, and they definitely made an indelible mark, not just in the entertainment industry, but in the places where they reside. Very cool stuff.
You have to
there.
remember that all this was cheap land when they bought into it, because that's all they could afford.
Yeah.
It wasn't the heart of the San Fernando Valley. It was the boonies. It was the sticks. I think I told my story. If you go to the next valley north of here, which is the Santa Clarita Valley, where all of the Magic Mountain and Valencia and all the wonderful housing is. I went looking for a house up there one time. In the days before we had Google Maps and all the rest of it, we had this thing called the Thomas Guide, which was this multi-page book of maps of Southern California and other places. And I had about a 4-year-old one, and I was looking for some new housing development on, I think it was called Whispering Glades Drive. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find Whispering Glades Drive. And then I finally did find it and found out that in the Thomas Guide, from back in the days when that north end of the valley was all dumps and prisons, it was actually originally called Trash Canyon Road.
Really?
And they renamed it because you can't sell a $500,000 McMansion on Trash Canyon Road. You just can't.
I would imagine that'd be pretty tough, right?
Meanwhile, now I live in the South, and we have streets like Bacon Boulevard. And I saw one the other day. Have you ever heard the expression "off the beaten path"?
Yes.
Well, I found a house on the beaten path. That's the name of the street. So I could actually live there.
I love that. You just tell everybody, "Hey, yeah, I'm off the beaten path," and it's what?
Yeah, just south of Bacon and north of Bourbon, and just to the west of Sour Mash Drive. So you get these names. What can I say?
Hey, I don't know. These Badger though coming in here with the 50 Danish crowns. Kind of funny. How much talk about free market you hear from America, yet every time a sale of one of these companies to another happens, the government. Yeah,
let me explain it to our visitor from across the seas. It's a regulated free market, and in theory, those regulations are there to make sure nobody pulls in the fast one. Do they? Sure, they do.
Yeah,
I bet it happens that way in the land of the DKK as well.
There are some people who talk about free market, and it's like it's not really the case.
Yeah, but it's the same people who say we're a democracy and don't understand we're a representative. Right.
It's one of those. Danish with the 50 more Danish crowns need to say good for it. They are all so big that true free market is nothing more than an illusion. Yeah, I mean, look, it's corporations run the world, unfortunately. That's just kind of how it goes. But
they think they do. They find out they don't when something like this happens. So
that's a good point. That's a good point right there. But you said it was scary, Lou, when traveling to those places in Southern California. I will say, traveling amongst the Raylos, very scary, and we have to talk about a Raylo story. What do I mean?
Hey, Raylo?
Raylo, yes. That is the the relationship between Ray Skywalker, I guess, or Ray Palpatine, and Kylo Ren. Yes,
I thought you remember the highs and the lows, of which they've mostly had lows lately, right?
Yeah, exactly. Adam Driver on Jarmusch, Star Wars. I'm putting filmmakers first.
Jarmusch.
Sorry. Jarmusch.
Imagine a jar of mush. And
gotcha.
That's his name.
Gotcha. I very much apologize. I'm bringing this article up because in this article,
I apologize for all the jars of mush out there. But anyway,
jars of mush.
Is that like Jar Jar Mush? Is that his distant cousin?
Oh, that's very interesting. I never thought about that.
Did you see that picture of the Halloween costume of Jar Jar Barbie?
No.
With the Jar Jar Binks head with feminine accoutrements sitting on a Barbie girl. Where was it?
That is scary. That No good, Lou. No good. But okay, so Adam Driver apparently spoke to AP and told him about this whole, I guess, treatment or script or story that they were crafting, I think, for like 2 years or something with another famous writer in Hollywood, talking about this idea to bring Ben Solo not only back to life, but to bring a film searching for him. It's kind of like the search for Spock. Well, now we're going to do the search for Ben Solo, and I'm serious, folks. That's pretty much what it is. The hunt for Ben Solo. Adam Driver initiated the movie as he had, quote, unfinished business with Kylo Ren. Said after The Rise of Skywalker would have revived Ben Solo, intended to have lower budget than sequel trilogy, inspired by The Empire Strikes Back, as I guess everything is now. Steven Soderbergh, Ocean's Trilogy, and Contagion was brought on to direct. Scott Z. Burns, side effects wrote the script. Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni approved. Bob Iger shot the movie down. It's interesting because...
Oh my God.
Yes. Isn't that very interesting? Now,
there weren't enough hippos in it. That's got to be the answer.
Apparently, it wasn't just Bob Iger. It was also Alan Bergman. So let me see if I can go ahead and type this in here to find this within this article. Yes, here we go. We presented the script to Lucasfilm. They loved the idea. They totally understood our angle and why we were doing it.
So stop right there. Who at Lucasfilm?
I think it was Kathy, because I'll reference something else.
But he doesn't say, does he? We presented it to the entity known as Lucasfilm, so who knows?
No. And he goes on to say that we took it to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, and they said no. They didn't see how Ben Solo was alive, and that was that. Okay, now... there is another quote out there going around, which I believe is this one. Steven Soderbergh says the hunt for Ben Solo was the first time Lucasfilm had finished a script ready for green light, rejected by Disney. Quote, in the aftermath, I asked Kathleen Kennedy if Lucasfilm had ever turned in a finished movie script for green light to Disney and had it rejected. She said no. This was the first.
It must have been really bad, huh?
It must have been really bad, right? Because you got to remember back in 2018, right after Solo comes out, and it's really the first big failure ever seen in Star Wars history, right? It was the first ever live action theatrical to ever lose money. And so you'll remember this article from the Hollywood Reporter, September 20th, 2018. Bob Iger talks Disney streaming service, Roseanne, James Gunn, and coming Star Wars slowdown. He says right here, let me go ahead and find this one. He talks about how I think we're going to be a little bit more careful about volume and timing, and the buck stops here on that. That's a direct quote from Bob Iger talking about how they went a little bit too far too fast. And you can see this right here. This is from Forbes. I believe this is from Caroline Reed's excellent reporting over there. But you can see the diminishing returns and the increasing costs really associated with these.
The incredible shrinking Solo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Honey,
only lost 100 million.
Force. Honey, I shrunk the force.
Exactly, and that's what it is, Lou. They diminished the appeal of this franchise so badly within basically 4 years, because Force Awakens comes out in 2015, The Rise of Skywalker comes out in 2019. You can see the difference in terms of box office performance and what profit that they glean from it, according to these figures. Who knows if it's even worse than this? But I think that's why Bob Iger's like, no, you're not going to get these blank checks that we've been pushing your way.
Look on the bright side. They only made 3 Tron films.
Yeah, that's true. I forget about Tron. Oh, this company just throwing money down the money hole right there.
If I came from another planet, and they were told there's this hugely successful series of films, and they told me that one somewhere in the middle was called The Last Jedi, wouldn't I think that was the last one?
Yes, that's such a good point.
And these people say, well, now that it's dead, I can talk about it. Well, now that it's dead, it's dead. Why are you talking about it?
Right. So the reason why we're talking about it right now, because originally when I heard the story, I was like, okay.
We're talking because they are. I don't blame us. I'm just saying what do they think they're going to get out of being crybabies at this point?
Well, there is a contingent. I don't know if it's within Disney or within Lucasfilm, but it's definitely within the Reylo community that thinks that if they cry about this loud enough, they will finally get this specific film. It's totally bizarre. So here you go. From Cosmic Marvel right here. Star Wars fan paid for a billboard in Times Square pushing for the release of The Hunt for Ben Solo. Apparently, millions of dollars were poured into this. And you can see it right here. No one's ever really gone. Hope lives. Ben is alive. Hashtag The Hunt for Ben Solo as an acronym, and for Adam right there. And you can see a video of this.
Oh, I get it now. It's fan fiction.
Yes.
And people spent money on promoting it, and I'm supposed to be shocked? They spend all kinds of stuff on that crap, and it just...
It is so crazy. And, people have been going crazy with this. So here you go. This is people, I guess, fake protesting at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, asking for this Hunt for Ben Solo movie here.
TikTok. Well, that makes it valid.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this thing is blown up. And I'm just like, are you serious?
I don't think they spent millions. I don't think they have millions to spend.
I don't think so.
A billboard in Times Square, I don't know what they cost, but for how long? And golly,
it's just, this is the weirdest story. People are going crazy about this and how they should bring this concept back and how they should, restore this and stuff like that. And we've just seen diminishing returns for this specific property and the amount of money that has been wasted on these pet projects like Leslie Headland's Acolyte, for example. Or we know that the Rise of Palpatine or Rise of Skywalker, they spent over $600 million on this stuff. It's just, it's over, guys. I mean, people have to get back to reality.
There is an analogy here. And curiously enough, it also relates to my recording last night with the genre guys. Star Trek was dead. And it had been canceled. It was over. And the fans didn't want to let it go. And they got this idea of doing a con, which nobody had ever done. And those cons started to grow and people were shocked. And that got the studio thinking, well, gee, maybe. But when they did it, they didn't go to Kylo Hoo-Ha. They went to Robert Wise, multiple award winner and director of everything from The Sound of Music to The Sand Pebbles. And they went to a serious production, and they spent some serious money. Mm-hmm. And they made a great movie. I mean, it's even better when you watch it now. It really, really is. And I would encourage anyone who's interested to watch the restored director's whatever, because it's got all the 4K enhancement of the graphics. But that was a fan upsurge that worked without the internet,
right?
Without billboards, without anything other than people writing letters and hoping. So how come it worked then and it isn't working here? And the answer is because there was something worth saving.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and this Mandalorian and Grogu, we've talked about it before. Everybody fell in love with the cute little mini Yoda, and then they did nothing with him. He never grew. He never changed. And they've sold all the plushies, and they've sold all the puppets. And what's left? We'll see.
Exactly. And
we'll see.
And that's why the viewership numbers on this are most striking, because people were very interested in The Mandalorian when it first came out. Disney Plus is a new thing, and then that diminishes very quickly upon subsequent seasons. And now for this movie, not show, it's almost on par with what the third season actually did. So, enthusiasm has diminished greatly for this franchise and the other franchises under Lucasfilm's belt. Like Willow is practically, it's gone. Indiana Jones is practically dead. What more can you mine? They're going to be trying with Starfighter and everything else. But to think that Ben Solo is going to be a hot property that people that is going to be a draw to movie theaters.
Does the audience outside of fandom even know who the hell a Ben Solo is?
Yes, that's
when I hear Solo, I think of Napoleon and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. You
Right.
know, when I hear Ben, I think of Ben Kenobi, but or Uncle Ben, which they hate, or
That's a good point. Look, I think Bob Iger.
it's just such a far out there. Hey, we came up with a great idea, and we got a couple of big people who want to do it. And do you want to do it? And Bob said, I think we'll take a pass. End of story.
Yeah,
But now
I think they made the right calculation.
Now they come out whining.
Yeah.
I don't know if they made the right or not. I never read it. I never saw it. I don't know. It might have been the greatest thing since, I don't know, Gone with the Wind, or. But it's his decision to make. And I got to tell you something. If he's saying no once in a while, that's a good sign. He hasn't been too good at that in the past.
I agree. I agree, and I'm going to give him credit. I mean,
like I say, it might be the wrong no, but at least it's a no.
Yes.
We never heard those words come out of his mouth.
And that's why that quote from Soderbergh was so striking, because it was very clear they had never been told no. They were just rubber stamping everything across their desk. And this is the first time where it's like, we're going to take a pass at this. So, I'll give him credit for that. Bad News Badger coming back in here with the 100 Danish crowns. For sure, it happens here as well. I didn't intend for it to be an us versus them comment. I was just finding it funny, as it seems to be so important for people, yet so few understand what's really going on.
Lots of people understand. I find the idea that so few a little disingenuous. But anyway, that's just me.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Fair point, Lou. And thank you so much, Bad News Badger. Awesome stuff. No harm, no foul. There you go. Oh boy, it's a very interesting time for sure. But I want to go ahead and on Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you, we do try to remember the past, and unfortunately, we lost someone of great value here,
yes.
June Lockhart, who became a mother figure for a generation of television viewers, whether at home in Lassie or up in the stratosphere in Lost in Space, has passed away.
And just a few days ago, they had the 60-year reunion of the Lost in Space cast. I know because Bill Mumy is a classmate of mine.
Really?
Yeah, and June Lockhart too, or Angela Cartwright, who had to leave that one to go to Salzburg, where they're having a reunion of the kids from Sound of Music. So all of these things all were happening at the same time, way back when. And she had quite a life, quite a career.
Man, yeah, it's this one definitely a sad one right here. Man, it's just we're losing all kinds of great people, Lou. Losing all kinds of great people. Unfortunately, with nobody to take up the mantles, or not enough people anyway. So, June Lockhart, you will very much be missed. All right, let's see right here. I think we have our Backlot jukebox right here. Let me go ahead and get it loaded up in the background. I do apologize, guys.
I love those. Mm-hmm. I hope people
absolutely
love those. I love discovering them.
I always love going through them. I always have a deep appreciation for music, and here you go. Tell us about this one, Lou.
Well, it says what it says. There's this group called Film Sympathy. I think they're in Spain. And they do movie scores, and this is a big symphonic rendition of Conan the Barbarian, which is, wonderfully barbaric. And who said French horns couldn't be barbaric?
I love that. I love it.
Basil Polidorus, who gave us, lots of great scores, but I think maybe even beyond the Running movie, this is maybe his best, I think. But anyway, you can hear them playing other things too. But get your Barbarian on and listen. You'll have a good time.
Absolutely, I do agree right here. And Lou, when you share these out, I can tell that a lot of these hit you personally and hit you on a level that only music can hit. So go ahead and join in on the musical journey with Backlot Jukebox right here. Link is going to be in the description, and I'll go ahead and throw it in the comment section as well. Hello there, Father Bradley's Fun. Good to see you right there. He is in the chat. We also have some great people in chat, like Amnuck right there. Obviously, Bad News Badger, Just a Dutchie in there. Very, very cool. Awesome stuff to have you all in here. All right, let me go ahead and load up the next little thing right here. This was pretty cool news. Star Wars New Hope 50th anniversary, the original Star Wars, as released back in 1977, will get an IMAX release in 2027. Very, very cool. I knew it was coming back. I didn't hear about the IMAX part, so this is pretty awesome. Lou, you gonna see it?
If my lazy old butt will get me out of the house to do it, yes. You have to remember they're building all these big screens, and now they got to find ways to fill them when the hit season is not on. So this is one of them.
Yeah, and
I mentioned F1. You know, F1 is coming back, if it hasn't already, to the big screens after having its initial run. So, how can I put this, Vash, in a way that you, among all people, okay?
Please.
It is easy to see, hard to foresee, but I foresee the sale of popcorn buckets will go on for a long, long time.
Oh, yes. In our galaxy for a long, long time indeed. I love this story, though.
Ron Bradley, you're trick-or-treating at SeaWorld? Do they give out fishy snacks instead of candy? Or what do they call those candy fish? Anyway, gummy, luta, something. That's interesting. Huh.
Interesting.
Trick or treat at SeaWorld. What a concept.
Oh, well. Hey, look, if you can trick or treat at California Adventure, you can trick or treat anywhere right there.
If you can trick or treat there, you can trick or treat anywhere. It's up to you.
Anywhere.
Candy.
It's up to you. Speaking of IMAX releases, though.
Swedish Fish. There you go. Anyway, go ahead.
Back to the Future is coming back October 31st in IMAX
there's a
right here.
popcorn bucket. I gave you that picture the other day. You still got it?
You did. Oh, I gotta get that up here. I'll get it up.
If I was gonna buy a popcorn bucket, this might be the one. I don't know. Might not. But
oh, sorry. I'm just trying to get it up in the background right here.
Meanwhile, I saw a great meme. I wish I could find it. I'd share it with you all. It was an actual photo from 1887 of downtown San Antonio, Texas, with one string of, old Western buildings and a bunch of buckboards parked out front, and amongst them, photoshopped in black and white, the DeLorean.
Oh,
so,
that's cool.
Kind of clever. But get a load of this, gosh. If you're
Look at that.
I mean, that's a pretty cool toy. I have no idea what they're charging for it, even without popcorn. But
it's great. It's fantastic. But Bob Gale, who obviously wrote Back to the Future back in the day, had some very interesting words here. I want to go ahead and play them for you right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn on captions so you can hear that. And let's see if we're good. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. Let me go ahead and... Ooh, something's playing in the background. Give me a second, folks. Sorry, I know we have a big...
the man of 1,000 windows.
Exactly. I know. The tabs got me again. Okay, let me see here.
Bob Gale, I had a little something to do with this movie. We are here because Universal really gives a damn about their library titles.
That's true. I mean, it's rarely Disney
I would like
doesn't.
to ask the people here from Universal just to stand up so that everybody can give you a round of applause for what you've done to make this evening and this 3 years possible.
Here you go.
Bring back the laugh. I'm all for that. I guess we need to start a letter writing campaign. The Simpsons is now owned by Disney. Attractions at the Universal theme park.
He talks about the Back to the Future, the ride there. As I guess name dropped by somebody in the crowd right there. Lou, would you invite
Well,
the future of the ride.
Well,
Returning to
they're
Universal
doing
Studios.
it in England.
That's true. That's true. Well, it's going to take on a whole new form in the form of a coaster right there. And
They'll
I
take a
have
giga coaster to gigahertz or vice versa. And we hope it doesn't hurt to ride it. But yeah, they're obviously doing it at Universal in the UK. So
I can't say any more, but I've also heard something might be on the way to Florida. But I can't say anything more than that, but I'm just saying I've heard some stuff in the works right there. I would love to get the Back to the Future the ride back. I don't know if it's possible in Hollywood, but go ahead.
My only problem is with the word back. I understand it would bring it back, but it would have to be changed and improved and played with.
I think so.
Because you can't just say, well, it's nostalgia night at the old theme park. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you do have to change that up just a little bit because the original ride film, look, a very impressive ride film. There's no getting around that here. Let's see if I have it. Oh, I got it in my assets. Look at that right there, the original ride film. Very impressive model work and state of the art at the time for sure, but it probably does need a little bit of an update now. If you just play the film in there and don't do any other overlay stuff just for like a special promotional opportunity, that might be something. But in order to bring it back proper, I would think that you have to upgrade all of this. And it's much easier to do now, as we've seen with Star Tours and the like. So, but very, very cool. Got a shout out right there for Back to the Future the Ride by Bob Gale, talking about Back to the Future back in
Please
theater.
buy more tickets. I would like more residuals. Wow.
You're not wrong.
And he's entitled, but it's like everybody go buy 12 tickets because I make 37 cents each. And, my kids are in college. But anyway.
Right.
All I'm saying is, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse with our friend from overseas.
Yes.
If you're going to complain that a regulated, protected free market isn't free, then you should complain that people who have a love of their films but also get paid shouldn't be allowed to promote them because they get paid. Dollars and cents are what makes the deal. I've told the story. Let me tell the story again.
Please.
Many years ago, a friend of mine was teaching a class at the Actors Studio, the Hollywood version, not the New York version. And this class was that he would have some of his students do a reading of a new yet unproduced play, and then they'd talk about it with the author who was there. And somebody canceled, and I had a play that was on its way, I hope, to New York. And he said, could you bring it? Could we do your show? I said, sure. He said, but think up some questions to ask the audience after they've seen it. So I go in with this group of young actors, or as we like to call them in the business, punks. And we do the play, and I have to ask a question. Now, I asked a question I thought would stimulate some discussion, not because I really cared what their answer was, honestly. And the question was, now, this is scheduled to go as a stage play, but we're considering perhaps rewriting it as either a feature film or as a TV movie. Do you think it would work better or worse in any of those mediums than on the stage? And this young actor, punk guy in the front row, gets up with this sneer in his voice. And he said, well, wait. Hold on just 1 minute there. Are we talking about the play? Or are we talking about the deal? With contempt dripping from his voice. And I smiled. I was nice. I leaned over and I said, a-hole, without the deal, there is no play.
Boom.
And that's the moral of the story, guys. It's a business and it's an art form, and it takes a lot of money to put all those, especially compared to writing your great American novel or painting your picture or sculpting your sculpture. You got to have all these other people involved collaboratively with you, technical people, creative people, everything in between. And that costs big money. And so there's got to be a sting in the tail there. And if you can't get over that, you can't get over yourself. So enough said.
Yep. there ain't no business like show business. Emphasis on the business aspect right there.
Well, yeah. Or as I said in one of the episodes of my wonderful, he's getting the plug in, Patreon, to be an actor, see Mr. Factor. He'll make your kisser look good. I did a whole thing on actors. That's episode 6, 5. Anyway, I got a new one that's about to come out that will be more, and I'll tell you the origins of it, and you'll hear it again in the actual thing. Just the same week here that we were doing, as I said, the Star Trek movies, they ran a survey of my existing members, which I thank every one of you for. And they had all different questions about what are you trying to get out of this experience of being a member of this Patreon and hearing LEW'S views. And the number one answer was to connect with the creator. And here I am doing Star Trek the Motion Picture, and I'm thinking, my God, they're V'ger. They're trying to connect with the creator.
That's funny.
So anyway, when I'm doing these shows on your channel and on the other channels, often I will hear something said that reminds me, and I'll say, it reminds me of a story of, remind me to tell you later, because I don't want to interrupt the overall flow of the conversation with my long-winded anecdotage. But I can do it on my own thing. So I'm going to do a couple of stories that have come up in my mind, but have not been aired on the other channels for this next episode. One involving the weather, one involving a very famous comedian's daughter and her stupid question and the stupid answer she got. And so if you want that kind of thing, come join us. It's a big $5 a month, and I guarantee to make it worth your while. And if it isn't, you can quit. But those of you who join for free, you only get that teaser first episode that explains who I am and whatever. So I hope you'll consider upgrading to the full boat of a whole $5. But either way, you are welcome at LEW'S Views. I don't know why every time we do it on here, that CW gets inserted, because I don't know what that is. But either way, it's fine with me. But just old Patreon LEW'S Views works. And you'll find in there, it comes up all the time, and I don't know why, or what it means, or what it tells the algorithm, or that's between you and the science. I don't do the science; I do the art. I let the science take care of itself.
Yeah, but it always does pop up. I'm not sure why.
I don't know, but anyway, that's my shameless plug of the week, and I hope it makes an impression, because I would love to see you all there.
And we'd love to have you all there listening to Lew. I mean, I think what he says on a range of topics, even outside of Hollywood, but especially Hollywood, because obviously that was one of his many businesses.
Well, but I'm also trying to cover things beyond Hollywood, because I do so much of that here. Yep. The most popular episode so far of the 7 or 8 that are up is one with the subtitle of Shutdowns and Sombreros. So
I love it.
I do get into political topics. I do get into culinary topics. Culture Casino and I are thinking of doing a whole wine episode together, either on his channel or mine. I told him if it was on his, we would have to call it, "Thank you very much for your attention to this vintage."
Oh, fantastic.
Because I have a few wine stories. I might tell a wine story in this next one, too. I'm going to record it shortly after we're done. But anyway.
Well, hey, for wine and more, you got to go over to Lew. What are you doing?
LEW'S Wines, WHINES. No, views.
I love it. I love it, Lew. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this. This has been a fantastic episode right here, filled with a lot of great insight about what's going on right there. And we need your questions, everybody. So go ahead, please. Go ahead and provide your questions at t3ponline@yahoo.com. We'd love to go ahead and answer them here on Hollywood Backlot with Lew and you. That's the you portion of that. Get you in right here and make sure that we're delivering the content that you so desire, whether it's on LEW'S Views or Hollywood Backlot. Awesome stuff. To find me, you can find me at That Park Place. We're doing live streams every single Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Definitely check that out.
Moments in the morning, magic hours, magic times.
Absolutely. And we got some time information coming up. But the 3 p.m. on Tuesdays is when we do T3PO Live.
And
That's
I'm
with
there
Lou.
for that. Yes.
Absolutely.
When
And
I
the
can
gang right
be.
there.
And,
Talking about theme parks. Good
I
stuff.
show up on the Monday night Super Double Secret Probation Pro Show pretty much.
Yes.
And occasionally with Lauren and Apollo, we had a really talk about music. We did a really great one about movie music a few weeks ago, last week, I guess it was. They're great. And if you're not watching Lauren and Apollo, you're missing a lot.
Oh, you gotta watch Lauren and Apollo. Guys, come on. What are you doing? Lauren, Marvin's on there. A whole bunch, obviously Kevin. Great
Yeah, and
stuff
Marvin
right there.
shows, for God's sakes. I mean, Tootie Town TV, wrestling, all that good stuff. And then, of course, Follow the Bradleys Fun, where I'm so kicking myself that the last time I was at Buc-ee's, I didn't go through the car wash because he did, and it's neat. And I got to go back.
Yeah,
Just to get my car washed. That and some brisket, and some
you
nuggets.
have to.
It's about an hour from here to the nearest one, so that's handy. They're building what did you hear? They're building a Buc-ee's in Wisconsin.
I did hear about
Their
that.
furthest north outpost.
That's pretty north too. That's up there.
Yeah,
It's gonna be interesting to see how it differs, given the market conditions up there. Also, too,
Will they have cheese curd nuggets? I don't know.
You gotta have cheese curd nuggets.
They should
But,
have a Babe the Blue Ox for Buc-ee to be riding out front for the statue. But
Big change here at the end of the week, as everybody knows, the clocks move back there. So
that's right. Don't forget, next week, everybody, we're on at the same time, but the same time isn't the same time.
Right. So just be aware of that, guys.
You snooze, you lose.
Yeah. So if you find yourself,
my dear grandmother, God bless her, she always used to say, "I like to get my hour back."
yeah,
And
I like that.
I mean,
like that.
I don't think it's an excuse. You can nap anytime, honest.
Well, if you're late to some programs or early or whatever it is, well, now you know what's going on right there. So just want to go ahead and keep our viewers ahead of the curve, as well they always usually are. I think that just about concludes our program here in Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you. We'll go ahead and see you next week. Same bat time. Well, I mean, mostly, I guess, but definitely the same bat channel. So make sure you subscribe right here to that pod place where we are producing all kinds of great content. We are going to go back to regular uploads on this channel. I'm working with Jonas and the team in order to provide all of these things to you. So definitely hit that subscribe button. And,
Trick or treat safely, children.
And yeah,
I saw some people talking in the chat about these trunk or treat things. I highly endorse them. They're much safer. Where churches or groups put all their cars in the parking lot and everybody goes from one to one to one, and then you're not out walking the streets.
And if anybody, if you knock on any doors and somebody comes in talking about shape language, run.
And so what we've tried to do is really bring that shape language from the architecture. But like what we love to talk about at WDI is shape language. And we often refer to shape language.
There's such iconic shape language in Spaceship Revetti Attraction. We really wanted to make sure that we fused to that throughout the space.